Hey there, welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show, just overlooking that picturesque scene out there. It is so pretty, isn't it, Bill?
It's beautiful.
Oh, I love that. I wish we could do our show out on the deck, but we'd get way too distracted if we were out there.
I know. I'd be up there with you, though, in a second.
Right,
It'd be awesome.
instead we have our lovely fake wall back here, which, you know, this tends to be greener sometimes than what's out there, but that's even better outside for sure.
It's really green this year.
It looks spectacular. But welcome back to the show. So nice to have you here for your monthly segment. And this morning we're talking about something that has been in the news a lot, workplace bullying, but a specific type of bullying, and really the most insidious type of workplace bullying. So we're going to get into that, but let's talk first about some of the statistics when it comes to how many people in the workplace deal with this problem.
You know, I was just flabbergasted. When you read the surveys, between 70 and 90% of the American worker have been bullied at one time or another. It's just amazing.
That is a really high number, and that's something where I wonder how it's kind of broken up. What types of bullying? This morning, like we said, we're talking about one of the most I kind of think overlooked. It's not as readily recognized as workplace bullying. This is a more passive aggressive form or behavior of it. So to begin with, how do you know when you're a victim of the passive aggressive type of bullying?
You know, Chelsea, it's usually after you've been the victim that you find out. And what happens is, I call this a passive aggressive predator. And the reason is they're nice to our faces. And then as soon as we leave, they've got the knife out and they're either destroying our reputation or our work. And you can tell sometimes just by the way people start treating you. Maybe they're used to be somewhat closer and then they start to pull away. Sometimes you can see your work that was initially embraced and all of a sudden people are starting to push away. And so it's really sometimes difficult to even know what's happening unless you're aware.
So this type is like usually you determine it, or you're able to figure it out after the fact. And it's something that when you're dealing with someone that's being passive aggressive like that, how do you prevent yourself from becoming a victim in the first place?
The best way is, especially if you start into a new group within a company or you join a company, be somewhat circumspect. You know, don't allow all of your opinions to come out, especially to someone who may be trying to get into your inner circle, because someone who's doing that sometimes is the person who wants to get into your inner circle to get something on you to spread around to other people. So just be a little circumspect.
So also when it comes to sharing those personal opinions and being open with people, I feel like this is something that requires a very good ability to discern the intentions of people. Not all of us have that talent. I feel like with me, I automatically just trust people, and it's something where you need to prove that you're not a good person in order for me to lose that trust for others. They're a little bit more, okay, I need you to prove that you have my back before I believe that you're not out to get me in some way. Kind of some very different views. You may call it negative or positive.
Yeah, I think it's careful.
Yeah,
is probably the best way of describing it. And I'm like you. I'm very trusting. As you know, I'm just very open. What you see is what you get. And but I've been a victim of that kind of bullying, and it's not pleasant.
So what are we supposed to do when we find out someone is treating us this way? So we kind of talked about, you know, preventative measures and also how to maybe avoid that in the first place. But when we actually recognize this is happening, I mean, my initial reaction would be I would want to confront them face on. Is that the right thing or no?
Well, be careful how you do it, because if you confront them and it's you're angry, or you confront them that you're distraught, they won. So, so it needs to be just, you know, when I shared that with you, I thought we were talking in confidence. Now I'm hearing it all over the office. What happened? They don't like to be called bullies. No matter what kind of bully they are, don't like to be called on being a bully. And so if you can just do, you know, Tell me what happened that caused you to spread this. And, and what you will hear sometimes is a person will say, I feel like I was stabbed in the back. When you hear that, then you know there's a workplace bully or a predator on the loose inside the company.
And then beyond that, having dealt with it, if you do indeed deal with that, how do you recover from something like that? Because the words you're using here, it sounds like this could really tarnish someone's reputation depending on what's being passed around, what type of intent that bully has as they're passing it around. You could potentially have really awful repercussions when it comes to your job, your position, your stability.
Chelsea, that's exactly right. And probably the best way is if you have somebody who's a mentor within the company, someone that you can go to and talk to confidentially, just go to them and say, can we have a confidential discussion? Something happened here, and I'd like to chat with you about it. And then go into some detail. This person, maybe not at that point even name names, but this person came, was nice to me to my face, and all of a sudden some of the confidential things that I said are now throughout the company, and I really feel like they just stabbed me in the back. How do you feel I should handle it? And let them give you advice how to handle it. And part of the advice may be, can you give me some more detail? Can you tell me who it is? And for them, what they need to do then is to start paying attention. Does this person, are they close to people and then all of a sudden more distant shortly after that? That's a sign that probably they're a predator and they're, people are starting to pull away from them.
Sure. So it sounds like this is something where you don't necessarily recommend confronting them directly, talking with someone in management. Is this an HR issue, or would you suggest someone someone who supervises you? Who should we be going to about this?
It depends. It depends on your relationships.
Good answer.
Yeah. There is no hard and fast rule. Obviously, human resources, if it's a good, responsible human resource department, they should get involved. But I would go to the mentor first and see what their suggestion is. Okay.
Well, is there anything else that you want to add when it comes to this type of bullying, this passive aggressive behavior, which, like we said, you won't even know about, unfortunately, until it actually happens, until it maybe does hurt your reputation?
Chelsea, some of these people don't even realize they're predators. They say, well, I was just telling stories.
And that's what's interesting, yeah.
And so they really don't realize. Others will do it intentionally so that they can belittle you and gain some space in the company and some recognition in the company. Sometimes you'll see managers take credit for other people's work. And that's another form of that type of predator.
Wow.
So
That's
people
amazing.
don't really think of it as workplace bullying, but it really is.
That's what it is. Well, you've definitely revealed some new thoughts to my mind in terms of what that includes, because I think many of us didn't ever considered it in the light that you've shed on it. So let's remind folks where they can go to find out more information about how they can get in touch with you and such.
Well, I'm out there on the internet all over the place.
Yes.
And I'm doing more public speaking, and so I'm trying to be more speaker bureau friendly, so you can find me on the internet or through a speaker bureau.
Excellent. And then we wanted to let you guys know that it's pretty great because the help that you do provide is quite significant. So thank you very much for joining us this morning. I appreciate your time here, Bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
We look forward
Chelsea.
to next month. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. When we do, we're going to be in the kitchen with Bandits.